Hey everyone, so today I am going to be reviewing Full Dark, No Stars by Stephen King. Now, you may be asking or saying, Maddie, you just reviewed a Stephen King book. Why are you doing another one? Well, I finished Go Ask Alice at my boyfriend's house, and then I was bored, and I was out of books. And the only books that he has that aren't like a series starting with the second book in the series are Stephen King books. So I was like, this one sounds good. Okay, I'm gonna grab it. So yeah, that's what happened. Couple of stats on this book. It was published. There we go. It was published in 2010 by Scribner, and it is. Is it Scribner or Scribner? I feel like it's Scribner because it's a vowel followed by two consonants, which means it's a short vowel, not a long vowel, but I could be wrong. Oh well. It's 364 pages. Before I read the summary, I did not get this from the summary, and I probably should have. I didn't get it until there was a table of contents. Yeah, table of contents. This is broken up into 4 short stories, and I did not know about that. So, yeah, disclosure, it's 4 short stories. Okay. Summary time. Woo! Okay. I believe there's another man inside every man, a stranger, writes Wilfred Leland James in the early pages of the riveting confession that makes up 1922, the first in this pitch-black quartet of mesmerizing tales from Stephen King. For James, that stranger is awakened when his wife Arlette proposes selling off the family homestead and moving to Omaha, setting in motion a gruesome tale of murder and madness. In Big Driver, a cozy mystery writer named Tess encounters the stranger along a back road in Massachusetts when she takes a shortcut home after a book club meeting. Violated and left for dead, Tess plots a revenge that will bring her face to face with another stranger, the one inside herself. Fair Extension, the shortest of these tales, is perhaps the nastiest and certainly the funniest. Making a deal with the devil not only saves Dave Streeter from fatal cancer, but provides rich recompense for a lifetime of resentment. When her husband of more than 20 years is away on one of his business trips, Darcy Anderson looks for batteries in the garage. Her toe knocks up against a box under a work table, and she discovers the stranger inside her husband. It's a horrifying discovery rendered with bristling intensity and definitively ends a good marriage. Yeah. So, it was amazing. I was hooked from page 1. When I was reading that, you may have noticed 1922, and you may have recognized it from the Netflix movie that just came out. It's based on the short story in this. So I'm going to kind of like get into that a little bit too. So 1922 is the first story in this, and it's a little. I want to say it's like 130 pages. It was really good. I really liked Stephen set up the story really well before the murder took place. He did a really nice job of showing what life was like, and then it was like, okay, it's fine. And then it was like, oh, here's this issue. Oh, here's where the darker man comes in. Ah, murder. Okay. So he did a really good job with the setup, and then my favorite part was actually watching Wilf spiral out of control. It was just it was awesome. I'm a little twisted. I like watching and reading and watching people just be especially go from oh, it's fine to depths of depression. I'm horrible. Sorry. Um, but it was a really, really good story, and it was very just psychological. It was great. A bit on the movie. I did watch it. I watched it right after I finished the story, and it followed not only the story, but the dialogue almost exactly. And the screenplay was not written by Stephen King. If you've watched The Shining, if you know anything about The Shining and Stephen King, you know that that movie did not go well with him because he did not write the screenplay and it was like nothing like the book. So, yeah. But this was not the case. It was really well done. And the the slight changes in the movie did not take away from the book. It just added a little bit of a artist touch, whenever we go and try to recreate something that somebody else did, we always put our own spin on it. So, director did a really good job. I highly recommend checking that out. Um, it is rated TVMA, so just disclosure, it's very gory. I think that's why it's a very, very gory movie. It gets kind of more back into Steven's horror side a little bit without being like jump scare monster. It's psychological torture. It was great. It was really good. Okay. Um, ah, okay. So the second story was Big Driver, and this was the book club, the woman who came home from the book club. Um, yeah, something really bad happens to her, and I loved reading about how she like went from like, oh, I'm just doing like this one thing as a favor. It's fine, I get paid, yay, like me. But I loved watching that, and then like everything she knew just got like destroyed. She was like, this is awful. And, like I said earlier, like depths of depression. Yeah, but I loved watching her just like come out of that and taking her life back. It was so, I don't want to say empowering because it shouldn't be, but it was great. Um, Again, the character development in this was amazing. Like, I'm pretty sure even her cat had a really good personality. Like, yeah, that just shows how great Stephen King is as a writer. All right. Second story's down. Third story, Fair Extension, by far my favorite. It was it was the shortest one. I think it was only like 40 page, probably like less than 40 pages. This was the one where the guy got cancer and made a deal with the devil. Oh, it was so good. But like it's like a deal with the devil, but it doesn't come right out and say he's the devil. It just hints, which was cool. Characters were well developed. Um, I would talk more about it, but there are too many spoilers. Basically, it's like this one guy's get like dying of cancer while his best friend is like flourishing, and then they switch. But oh, it's not quite as cut and dry as that. But I don't want to do spoilers because I'll get shot or something. It was just my favorite one. Like I said in the summary, it had like the most humor. I wouldn't even say it had the most humor. I think it was like karma basically, and it was nice. Okay. Then the fourth one was called A Good Marriage. This was the one where Darcy, the wife, found out something really bad about her husband. Yeah. Um, and like this is kind of a downplay of what it is, but it's basically like when you find out that the person you've been with for a while is like cheating on you, and you just like some people are like, I'm leaving him, but like I was in a similar situation and like I didn't. I stayed, and it was like, and it really dove into like, oh my god, but like I love him. Do I really want to like leave because of like this really really bad thing? But then in the end she like took back her life. Like I can't tell you exactly what happens, but simply they're no longer together. Yeah. Um but it was really really cool to watch her like discover this horrible thing, recuperate from that, watch her husband try to cope with that, and then watch her just like take back her life, and it was awesome. Again, I I love Stephen King's female characters because they're realistic and they're not like pussies. They may start out like that, but they're by the end they're awesome. They're like kicking butt. Okay, so rating time. Yeah, Goodreads gave it a 4 out of 5, and I'm giving it a 5 out of 5 because I literally can't find anything wrong with it. There aren't plot holes. There aren't blah blah blah. Oh, one thing I forgot to mention: all of these take place in Maine, where he lives. Fair Extension takes place in Derry, Maine. That's where Pennywise is, like the clown from It. Yeah. So it was really cool if you've read any of his other books and you're like, oh, he's mentioned that before. Oh, he's mentioned that before. And yeah, all of his stories took place in Maine, about like 100 miles at most away from his house, except like a city. But like, I stayed in Maine for a summer. It was really cool. And I got to see a lot of like the places he was talking about in his stories. It was like, ah. Okay, so final thoughts. I highly recommend it. I think it's a great summer read simply because it's like short stories. It's kind of psychological torture, but like if you're into that kind of thing, like it's a great beach read. Like I would probably pick it up for a day on the beach and just like crank it out. I highly recommend it. There's nothing wrong with it. Okay, so thank you all for watching, and I will see you next time.